Many people would assume that for a business to be undergoing a due diligence process, that a transaction must be about to occur. A merger, an acquisition, a divestment. But that's not necessarily true. Sure, each of those things that I just spoke of will trigger a due diligence process of some shape or form. But perhaps it's time for us to broaden our understanding of due diligence and start to consider it as a diagnostic tool, one that will help us to be strategic in implementing a medium to long-term goal or plan, rather than only the immediate future. G'day, I'm Brett Goodyear, Managing Director of BizDiligence.com.au, and welcome to BizDiligence Bulletin. Over the coming months, we'll consider some cases where some level of due diligence is required, from simple appraisal to an in-depth analysis of the form and substance of a business. Today we're going to consider retirement planning of a business owner. Okay, so a business owner, let's call him Dave, starts to think about whether he has sufficient superannuation with which to retire comfortably, and so he starts a conversation with you, his accountant. Based upon your assessment of his needs, it is decided that Dave needs a minimum of around $2 million in assets, other than the family home, at retirement in 5 years. Dave's current superannuation balance is around $500,000, and he believes his business to be worth around $1 million, leaving a shortfall of about $500,000 that Dave needs to accumulate over the next 5 years. $500,000 in 5 years is going to be tight, but it is doable if Dave is a little frugal and he saves his pennies. However, what happens if Dave's business is only worth $500,000 when he retires? Does it mean he can retire? Does it mean he has to retire with less than he really needs? Will it be Passion Pop and Craft singles rather than Moe and Camembert? When planning for future retirement, a prudent advisor will do their best to make unknown risks into known risks. Often there is a disparity between what a business owner thinks their business is worth and what someone would pay for it in an arm's length transaction. It's only natural that you'd think that your baby to be more valuable than anyone else. As his advisor, it might be perilous to question this value, but it's the perfect time for you, the advisor, to add value. The prudent advisor recommends due diligence as a preemptive strike. At the very least, it will determine what the business is worth today, but gives such insight as to allow a conversation with Dave to truly understand what drives the value of the business. The due diligence process could delve a little deeper to understand what could be tweaked to improve the value, or deeper still, and determine what changes could be made to the business that would unlock hidden value, meaning that Dave could retire with $5 million in accumulated wealth rather than $2 million. To give some insight into the current market, it's expected that more than 40% of SMEs will change hands over the next 10 years. But at the same time, current market movements indicate that 80% of SMEs that are changing hands are doing so at EBIT multiples of less than 2. This is despite the common misconception that a business is worth 3 times its average profit. So how do some businesses achieve staggering multiples of well over 5, whilst others are lucky to achieve more than 1? Well, it all comes down to risk. Some industries are riskier than others, so their maximum multiple is already lower than most. But when considering risks specific to a particular business, this is where the multiple, and therefore value, will suffer. The key to increasing the multiple is to reduce the risk faced by a potential purchaser. Put simply, the greater the risk to the investor, the less that they will pay for the expected returns. By decreasing relative risk, the value of your client's business increases. And to understand your client's current risk profile, well, that's where BizDiligence can help. Perhaps you could help Dave move from the Passion Pop, skip the Moe, and land firmly in the territory of Dom Perignon. It may simply be a matter of using the right tool at the right time. And we here at BizDiligence look forward to helping you. Thanks very much.